Under the guise of value-neutral education, students learn that alternative lifestyles are good and that there are no ultimate moral standards. The ideologies of political correctness and multiculturalism are openly endorsed in the classroom. While most educators do not call themselves secular humanists and rarely promote a humanist agenda, it is the organized minority who preach their humanistic principles, often cloaked behind terms such as values clarification, self-esteem, multiculturalism, and political correctness. Thomas Sowell, a senior fellow at the Hoover Institution and author of Inside American Education, writes that while the organized secular humanist movement might seem to be a small fringe group, its impact on education is out of all proportion to its size. For many educators, the mere acknowledgement of the God of the Bible is considered offensive. Dr. Paul Vitz, a professor of psychology at New York University, was commissioned by the U.S. government to study the state of education in our public schools.
Well, I did a study on textbook bias, and I looked at grammar school textbooks. And the main thing to keep in mind is that they were very anti-Christian, but in a very funny way. They were anti-Christian, and particularly, I might add, anti-Protestant, by leaving out all references to Christianity. This was the common procedure. You omit it. You don't make nasty statements about it, but after all, somebody might notice those. But you leave it out. And by leaving it out, you're making the implicit comment that it's not important.
Through their strong political influence, secular humanists have been able to effectively censor the positive Christian influences on American history. A child enrolled in a public school today, learning only what the public school taught, would naturally emerge a secular humanist. Students in today's public schools are learning to replace a faith in God with what John Dewey called the common faith, a faith in man as the measure of all things. Humanists have not always hidden their agenda. Charles Francis Potter once wrote, "Education is the most powerful ally of humanism, and every American public school is a school of humanism." What can the theistic Sunday schools, meeting for an hour once a week and teaching only a fraction of the children, do to stem the tide of a 5-day program of humanistic teaching?
The beliefs of the secular humanist worldview continue to bear fruit in today's society. Because man is nothing more than a highly evolved animal, because there are no ultimate moral standards by which we should live, and because man has no inherent purpose, our society no longer defends or honors the biblical standards of right and wrong, the sanctity of life, or the truth that people are created in the image of God.